to use the term corrupt, to explain this current iteration of our government, to use the term corrupt is something that is so understated, so misleading, because it doesn't even come close to describing the cancer, the metastatic stage 4 cancer that our republic is suffering through right now. There's no way to tell this. To explain what is happening is a waste of time. It is gone. The patient is almost ready for hospice or something. But there's hope. There's still hope. But it's as close to giving up as we have ever been. Sometimes, my dear friend, a system becomes so putrescent, so rank, so fetid, so horrid, that nothing that you do, nothing you can explain, nothing you can even approximate, nothing can even come close to saying how bad this is. But there is hope in this instance. And we're looking at this patient and we're looking for a glimmer of hope, of something to make us figure, please, just give us something. Just let us know something. That's all. Let us know. Let us enjoy this. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. And I think we have something here. You must know this about me. I'm not pie in the sky. I get sometimes, many of you, my dear friends, will become upset with me because I will tell you exactly what I feel. It's not always great. In 2020, before that, I said Trump is not going to win because he is not doing what has to be done. And people got very upset with me. They got very upset with me because I was somehow letting you down. I was disabusing you of the notion that we were going to be victorious. You were dispirited over the fact of what I am saying. But I'm not going to sit here and be the cheerleader, because then you won't believe me. Then you'll say immediately, he's saying this just to cheerlead. I don't do this. I'm very careful with what I say, but I believe what I believe. And I will never, ever say anything to you that I don't believe. Sometimes I'd rather not say it at all. But things have never looked better than now. Sometimes things can change for the worse like that, and sometimes things can be better. Do you remember when ChatGPT came out of nowhere? Do you remember just the other day, a couple of months, we all of a sudden they said, ChatGPT, what is this? What is ChatGPT? What is this? What? Artificial intelligence, huh? Wait a minute, what? Robots? Did you notice that? It was like this. It was fascinating. It was the quickest advance of an idea, of a concept I have ever seen in my life. It was beyond anything I've ever seen. Beyond anything. Beyond anything. Incredible. Now, let me explain something to you. Now, let me see if I can tell you why things are good. Number one, in no particular order, before we take care of this patient, this country of ours, before we fix it, we have to remove the cancer. Before we apply any kind of radiation or chemotherapy or any type of palliative or actual, medical firepower and artillery, we have to remove the tumor. And it's operable. And that tumor's name is Joe Biden. Now, here's the thing. Remember something. What is a tumor? Two things you got to worry about. Number one, the tumor itself. But number two, what is feeding the tumor? One of the things which is very interesting about certain neoplasms and certain cancers is this thing called angiogenesis, which is really nasty. And what the tumor does is it sends out tendrils. It sends out it sends out little blood vessels, and it creates blood flows and blood sources. So the tumor, it's not that it's already there, it has to move, and it goes out. That's the Biden administration. You start with Joe Biden, and what feeds it? The first thing that feeds it is the shadow government. This organization that saw to it that Joe Biden would receive 81 million votes officially. 81 million votes. It made sure of that. It made sure that anybody who dared to contest that, anybody, would be shot down. If you were a lawyer, you would lose your ticket, your license. You'd be held in contempt and sanctions. You would be crushed. You would be a denier. They sent the word to all of their attendant little sock puppet proxies in social media to shadow ban, to demonetize, to crush, to shelve, to stovepipe, whatever you want to call it. That's that. Anything. It was the perfect, this tumor called Biden has so many aspects to it. And this, by the way, this was so important and so critical because it also dealt with other things too. COVID, big pharma, biomedical tyranny. Let me go on the record and say officially, let me say something now lest you do not understand or that you become confused. I in no wise am saying to you that there is no SARS-CoV-2. I am not saying that. I am not saying that. But just as I believe there is HPV in the human papillomavirus and condyloma acuminata and venereal warts and all types of human papillomae, while I agree and admit and absolutely establish that, yes, there is the HPV. Yes, there is a papillomavirus. Whether children or people are forced to get the vaccine is a different story. Whether the HPV vaccine, Gardasil, whether Gardasil has been tested enough, or whether Gardasil is the most efficacious, or whether Gardasil is even necessary for a newborn to be vaccinated against human papilloma. Those are issues which are separate and distinct from the efficacy or the existence of a particular pathogen or a virus or whatever. That is that's it. But to show you how the Biden, this tumor works, anybody who did not act in lockstep was considered to be an anti-vaxxer. These are the issues. This fuels it. It was a tumor. It was a cancer that came in under the name of Biden, and it really wasn't Biden. Joe Biden doesn't know where he is. You could take Joe Biden, you could put in Carmelita Harris, you could put in Corinne Jean-Pierre, you could put in Ilhan Omar, you could put in anybody. You could put in anyone. You could put in a sock puppet, and it doesn't matter because they hand this person the auto pen and they will follow through with the routine, with the goings on. This is what we've been looking at. So you've got to get rid of that. And it's coming to an end, and it's sending signals. First, Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden accelerated, exacerbated, and sped up this awareness. Hunter Biden made people realize, good God, we understand that there's a certain degree of corruption, but we never knew anything was like this. We never even saw and we never even imagined anything like this. Hunter Biden, dear God, hook pictures, and you haven't seen any of the pictures. What happened in that Delaware courtroom was the beginning of the end. That was the signal. That was all bets are off. And I hope that judge, and I will say this again, having had a thyroglossal duct cyst, and doing a little research of this, there is a mass that I appear appears to be, have you seen this? This midline round circumscribed mass could be a thyroglossal duct cyst, a colloid cyst of the thyroid gland, a solid tumor of the thyroid gland, either benign or malignant, an enlarged thyroid gland, or a goiter, whether the eyes are proptotic, which could be Graves' disease, hyperthyroidism, vascular mass, could be an aneurysm, could be a nerve sheath tumor. This really, sonogram, MRI, all of these things. This is, every time I see this wonderful judge's picture, I just go right to this throat part, right through it, because I'm so, you've got to watch these things, and you've got, and mine was a nice cut out and had a pen roll. Anyway. What this wonderful judge did was, she said, excuse me, there are normally two different portions of this. There's the plea, and then there's the diversion. And the diversion is not necessarily much of our concern of the court. But the plea has a lot to do with things like what investigations are pending, what immunity and promises not to prosecute apply, and all kinds of wonderful stuff. Do you understand this? And the diversion document is normally not for that. Well, what appears to have been done is that they had this reference in the diversion document, and the judge said, do you expect me to rubber stamp this? Are you asking me to, okay, you're basically writing here that Hunter Biden has been granted, in a sense, global or transactional immunity from now until the end of time for everything and anything? And by the way, Joe Biden today, through Karine Jean-Pierre, said, theoretically, I would not pardon my son. Well, I don't believe any of that stuff. Do you know what you do to a federal judge? This is lifetime tenure. They will break it off on you. But then again, sometimes they turn around and they don't. Why the FISA judges never called everybody in, the entire Department of Justice, hold the entire Department of Justice, issue an order to show cause, why they should not be held in contempt for having made a mockery out of the FISA courts by submitting this pissgate and evidence of Russian trollops performing undonism and urolagnia and all types of other things on the percales of some. I mean, this whole thing was a fraud. It was a joke. It was a manufactured fantasy that was used as a basis to issue the most restrictive and daunting of all surveillance. Why that didn't happen, I have no idea. But what it appears to me to be still is that they are sending a message that it's over. Had they wanted this to go through, it would have gone through. It's almost as though, and this is too hard to. First of all, you have the best lawyers who are supposedly of impeccable reputation. For you to F around with a federal judge You want to get conspiratorial? And to most people that means kind of like crazy or outlandish. How about if it was done deliberately to incur the wrath of the judge so that the judge would turn around and break it off in Hunter? To make it worse, to cause his exposure to be even greater. Because now they're going to go back, and he entered a plea of not guilty to what? I don't know. The Farah cases aren't over. And the number one, listen to me carefully, listen to me very carefully. The number one case that he has to worry about more than anything else is, forget Farah, but the Burisma case, where he was acting, basically, he was paying off. This is not only espionage, this is a level of corruption no one can even imagine. No one can even imagine. Dear God, no one can even imagine this. It's beyond anything we've ever seen. It is beyond anything. So it seems to me you live your life like a candle in the wind. Wait a minute, that's a song. It seems as though this, because Hunter was confused. I mean, he was, I despise him. All my life, when people, especially rich, bratty kids, and that's part, believe it or not, that's one of the, I'll bet you if I had met Bobby Kennedy Jr. as a kid, I would have probably hated his guts. And all those Kennedys who think I have such a prejudice. Anybody who thinks we can do what we want. We can do wild. Remember the Skakel case? Michael Skakel and Martha Moxley? They looked, when I saw pictures of them, these long-haired, these Connecticut, these rich, bratty, and Hunter, this idea that we don't have to worry about this. We get out of the problem. Remember A Scent of a Woman? Remember the great scene? Where a bared man, and where these rats were hiding behind their old man, and they're just these. It's a real prejudice. I hate anybody who doesn't play by the rules. I hate people who get away with murder because of who they think they are. This is why I hate discrimination, but inequity or inequality. I hate that. I hate it. It just drives me crazy. And Hunter Biden has gotten away beyond maybe murder. We use the term kind of as an expression, but what does he have to do? Anybody else would be under the prison, and they take this guy, and he doesn't care. When he's buying hookers, where are the feminists? He treats women like chattel, like cattle. You understand this? Like they're just his plaything. He's Hunter Biden. He does whatever he wants. He pays no responsibility to with the baby mama and all that. I mean, this whole story. Did you hear the story about Jill? I don't want to bring her into it, but go back and find out how she met the president. What was she doing? These people from the beginning, their entire life, they have said, in essence, we don't follow the rules you follow. We do what we want. Don't you understand this? We do what we want. Well, that may have come to an end. And one of the things which is the most important thing to realize is that the big money donors, the big shots, the big deals, the people with the people who are a part of the shadow government, the money folks, these people are unbelievable. These people are, I don't know what the word is. These people are saying we can't get anything done if we don't win. We don't care about Hunter Biden. We don't care about Joe Biden. We don't care about any of this stuff. We don't care about George Floyd, CRT, any of this. That's a cover. What we want is the complete and total destabilization of the world. And if this accelerates it, fine. We don't care about Leah Thomas. We don't care about men and records of swimming. We don't care about that. We care about money. We care about graft. We care about control. We care about things that matter to us, not this nonsense. And what you're doing to us, Joe, you're making it impossible, and we're losing. And we kind of thought that the DNC had their stuff together, that they would have never picked this dotard and this idiot, this buffoon, this weird, strange Kamala Harris and Karine Jean-Pierre and everyone. You made it. All you had to do was just follow the rules, sign the legislation, sign the executive orders. We'll do the rest. But you've set us back now. Now, are you ready? Stop for a second. Stop. Enter Bobby Kennedy. Cannot say it enough. The game changer. The game changer. And let me also tell you something. In my perfect world, and you don't see this, but hear me out. There are many groups of people who identify as Republicans, and those people who identify as Republicans would oftentimes be a part of this thing called the conservative movement. And where they got their information was Fox News. Fox News was a part of them. Newsmax and all these others will never, ever, ever enjoy that level of association with the cause like Fox News had. It'll never happen again. Never. It's done. It's finished. It is so over, but it's done. Did you happen to see, somebody sent me some of the interview with Sean Hannity and Bobby Kennedy. He owned that interview, Bobby did, with his own questions. Talk about not having your fastball. This is over. This is a relic. This is like, what happened? What are you doing? Have you just not any interest in your craft? Are you just phoning this thing in? What was the purpose of you trying to help Bobby? Are you trying to help Bobby? Because I've got news for you. When you're playing at that level, and you want to spend your time kissing Rupert's ass and the Suns, you better do nothing to encourage, nothing to support, nothing to make this guy look good. And you did by virtue of this lame. You phoned it in. You weren't even paying attention. He abused you. He wiped the floor up with you. Do you not see what's happening? What world are you living in? Bobby Kennedy changed everything. Bobby Kennedy changed everything. And let me go one step further. And I know you always have to do this. Tucker Carlson is except when he does this pseudo-religious pious stuff. Let me explain something to you. I want you to get something straight. I just saw somebody sent me to this interview he did with Tim Scott. What a buffoon this Tim Scott is. What a buffoon. He wants to degrade the Russian army because of what? What is this? What is this, from the 50s? Where are you from? And then he's quoting John 8:15 and Philippe. What? And stop this. Stop this. First, don't degrade, okay, the holy word of Christ by using it as a campaign, shibboleth or some kind of a slogan. It's cornball. You don't need to do this. They're still trying to do this pious, this is where people say, okay, yeah, I've had it. How are you supposed to get people from the middle ground, from the left, young folks, if you're acting like Elmer Gantry, if you're playing the preacher all the time, if you're doing this phony baloney, pious nonsense, you don't need to revert, or refer, rather, I should say, or revert perhaps, to not sending. He wants to engage Russia in a war. And you've got this Oppenheimer film. Are you not watching this film, which you supposedly understand? And Oppenheimer is a fraud. This story is ridiculous. Have you been following this? Does anybody know anything here? Does anybody know the first thing about history? Does anybody know how to run an election? Does anybody understand the stakes of what we're talking about right here? You know, people say, well, Tucker Carlson. Ronald Reagan was a two-bit actor, but GE taught him. Mike Pence, laugh what you want, was in talk radio. Carrie Lake, that one-trick pony, was in TV. They know how to communicate. And don't you think for 1 minute that Hannity could ever run for office? They would annihilate him. He doesn't know the issues. He can't, and you can't, it's not regurgitating pablum and bumper stickers and playbook, cookie cutter, echo chamber nonsense. And Bobby Kennedy gets it. And Tucker Carlson would be perfect. And whether he grows for office or not, doesn't matter. I would endorse him in a heartbeat. He needs training. Do you understand what's happening right now? You've got these people who are looking at, they're getting away from Fox, they're getting away from, they're understanding that the Republicans don't stand for anything. There's nobody. And then today they're talking about the third indictment series for President Trump involving January 6th. And we still haven't ruled out Georgia. Do you see what's happening? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you see what's happening? It's changing. Now is the time to move in. Now is the time to tighten up on your message, to go out all over the place and recognize something. What Bobby Kennedy has done is very smart. He's using long form and he's done things like podcasting, and that's very good. Very good to go out and try to elicit and engender and to inspire a new level of understanding. Great. But it's more than that. It's more than that. There are people right now who are looking for leadership. Now is the chance. And I have the perfect way to sum this up. It's so simple. Ronald Reagan, who was one of the best ever. The best. Maybe not the best president, but campaigners, message, the best. The best. You knew exactly when he made you feel good. And he talked about things, about values. And he just was like Tom Mix and Roy Rogers. And he was terrific. And he asked a very simple question. He asked the question thusly. He said, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And the answer to that is always no. We were under Trump, but that's a different story. And the question should be now very simply, do you want 4 more years of this blank, or this will do? Do you want 4 more years of this? Go to anybody. Do you want, forget Trump. Forget Trump. Trump's not going to run. Forget, no. Very simple. Do you want 4 years? Gavin Newsom, as somebody, friend of mine calls him, is going to step in, and he is Biden with hair product. That's it. He is an auto pen. He may talk a better game. He may flash and show some panache. I'm telling you, it's exactly the same. Do you want 4 more years of this? Bobby Kennedy is for the first time sitting down, and now he's got to at some point shift. The election is next year. Now, the website, the podcasting is great. The Joe Rogan stuff is great. Everything is terrific. Go on with Theo Vaughn and this one over here. And that's nice. But Bobby Kennedy, if you're listening, understand something. Now we got to tighten the message. Number one, until I tell you, you are not going to talk about vaccines anymore. It's over. You got that? It's over. Over. Don't talk about it. Don't remind people. Don't bring it up. Don't. Move on. Look at what's happening. Everybody's different. Polling. Who's running your campaign? Who are the people really behind your campaign? Do they know what they're doing? Polling tells you everything. It costs a lot of money. A lot of money. To really, you can find out exactly. You've got to have people who do the math. Swing states, problems, delegates, super delegates, all of that stuff. All of that. This has nothing to do with us. This is the actual specifics of how you win that nomination. There hasn't been a brokered convention in I don't know how long. It's always a given. Is he ready for this? Do you know how this works? Do you? Because that's the thing to do. Now, you've got to ask yourself this question. What is it that we're looking for? When will the savior, not to use that term, but when will the political savior appear, and what will he look like? How will we know it's the savior? How? What does he look like? What does he do? What does he say? How do we know it's who it is? How? How do we know? It hasn't been this clear. Now, my friends, I'm going to tell you something. It's going to be very interesting for the Republicans because they don't know what they're going to do with Trump. I don't know what they're going to do with Trump. As much as I love Trump, as much as we love Trump, as much as he is great, America is allergic to Donald Trump. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm sorry to say this. I don't want to break it to you. I don't want to hurt your feelings. You can laugh and love and pray and MAGA and this and that. But if you think that anything is going to be done with him as president, you're out of your mind. I'm sorry. It's true. Now, you may say, well, I just don't care. Okay, fine. If you want to have some kind of a symbolic vote, terrific. If you want to do this because you just want to make a point, or you want to say, yeah, that's our guy because you love him and it's a parochial kind of a thing, Mets and Yankees, whatever, fine, that's great. I am telling you that man has just worn out America. Not Republicans, not you, not Carrie Lake and all these people. America said, no. And I understand it. And if you can't read that, if you don't understand this, if that doesn't make complete and total sense to you, you are simply not paying attention. It's time to get real here, my friends. It's time to get real serious. Okay? Now, I love that guy. I think what he did was terrific. I think he's great. Look at that punum. Look at that. Even got my official pen. All right? But that's over. This was 2016. What he did, nobody ever thought he could do. And for that, we are thankful. He taught us. He changed everything. He taught us how to run elections. He taught us about rallies. He did things that were so important and so critical and so unbelievably brilliant, and we thank him for that. But it's over, and you've got to understand that. He is not going to be the president again, and if he does it, he's out of his mind. He's out of his mind. We have to move on. But listen to me. I know this bothers you, but I got good news for you. Do you know when he is going to be the most effective? As the elder statesman and the kingmaker and the statesman. He is not going to get any policy through. They're going to jam him up. And all you're going to do is put us through more gridlock, if it even happens. And they are not going to let him win. Now, you can dig in your heels all you want. And you can say, no, he's going to win. You're wrong. Fine. Don't be a child. I know this hurts. I know you love him. I know he's your boyfriend. It's weird. It's like this kind of a quasi-sexual thing. You love him. You've got this thing. Okay, fine. It ain't going to happen. Nothing will get done. Nothing. Nothing. We're going to go through this stuff? No, no, no. The role of the president today is not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. Donald Trump can change everything. With an endorsement, with a statement he's never known how to use, he could be. Think about this. Donald Trump only wants to tweet. He writes these stupid Truth Social. I don't know who writes them for him. Sometimes they're not very well crafted. He could do something which could be the biggest thing anybody has ever done. Oh my God, the kingmaker. He could bless the deal. But he's never had the interest. He's never had the discipline. He's never had the maturity of really understanding how this thing works. But if you think he's going to sit there and what do you think he's going to do? Now, I wish he could. Believe me, I wish he could. Believe me. There were people who told Richard Nixon, you don't understand. Richard Nixon was a genius. Richard Nixon was a political genius. He was a foreign policy. It's not going to work. Donald Trump can do things that he never could do. Never. And he could breathe a little bit. You keep throwing him into this. And you keep making him endure this. You think that, he can take it. No, he can't. Oh, no, he's not. You don't know Donald Trump. He's built different than we are. He loves this. When you attack him, he attacks back. What are you? Do you believe this? What, he tweets back? How is he attacked? What has he done? He's looking at 3, maybe 4 indictments coming out. What has he done? What is this fight back? He calls Jack Smith deranged. Is that what you mean? You mean by what he says? I don't think that matters. We repeat these tough guy things about, he's a fighter, and there's a picture of him, slapping. There's a meme, and he's on a Pegasus. Look, I don't know what to tell you. But he's in some serious, serious hurt, my friend. Serious. And I don't know how to break it to you. I'm sorry. I don't know how to break it to you. But it's serious business. Now, I want you to stop for a second. And I want to ask yourself this question. What do you want? What do you want? Write it. One word. Don't tell me freedom. Don't tell me liberty. I don't even know what that means. People have, freedom. Stop with the freedom. There's no freedom. I don't know what that means. You're free? What are you talking about? What do you want? First thing, what do you want? Simple. I want Biden out. How do you get rid of him? How? Trump? No. Trump's going to be Biden? No. 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 No, 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 no. That ain't going to happen. Sorry. That ain't going to happen. I'm not going to go through that again. Who can win this? How will it work? It can be done mathematically. Remember, they've got to get rid of Biden. He's on his way out. Carmelita is out. They're going to bring in Gavin Newsom, and they're going to bring in probably Gretchen Whitmer, They've already said this. I'm telling you. Can you see the way they're writing this? There was a picture on Drudge. Look at the cover of Drudge to see where they're going. They even said that Gavin Newsom was going to somehow lead the pack. He was going to break the AFTRA strike. I mean, they're whatever. Bobby Kennedy Jr. could destroy him. Destroy the Democratic Party. How do you do that? By exposing it. By going up with this message and say, I am a Democrat. My family has been a Democrat. We have been since day one. We have given our lives for this country, literally. And what these people represent today are not Democrats. I don't know what you call this. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what this is. Do you hear what I have to say? This is not the Democratic Party. And then go through the biggies. You think men have babies? Good. Go with these people. Do you think children should be taken away from their parents and subjected to hysterectomies, mastectomies, penectomies, orchiectomies, puberty-blocking drugs on a whim from a child who doesn't even know his favorite color? You think that's okay? Go over there. Go over there. Talk to these people. You think there's too much police or not enough police? You think crime's out of control? You think people should be let loose? You haven't heard anything. Do you like Soros-backed prosecutors? Do you like that? You like that? Go over there. You haven't even heard what restorative justice is yet. You haven't heard what critical legal studies are. CLS, the crits, you have critical race theory, critical legal studies. You don't have that. You don't know what's in store. You want to turn this country over to China? Let me tell you something. It's not going to be a war with China. We're giving it over to them. Watch what they're doing. Do you want to live that? Do you want to live with the social credit scores? You tell me. Go over there. And Gavin Newsom is a sellout. Gavin Newsom is Joe Biden on steroids. Gavin Newsom will do more and more and more and at a quicker speed than anything you can imagine. And he's more dangerous because he's slicker. Slicker than snot on a doorknob. Bobby Kennedy can destroy this. And if there is a doubt, a God, he'll go third party. You want to get conspiracy theory? Listen to this one. Bobby, if you're listening, you know and I know who killed your old man and your uncle. We don't know the names. We have a few ideas. That badge man routine, I think you know that MO, but you know the official story is ridiculous. The lone gunman, this crazy, not. The same people, maybe a different, maybe not. They're alive today. Obviously, this was 6 years ago. But the same way of thinking. The people who were going to give us Operation Northwoods, the people who were coming off of World War II, who felt invincible, they're still there. They took out my father. They took out my uncle. And now they took out my family. My family is turning on me. And I've had the chance all my life. I could have done it easy. I got money. I could sit back and just chase skirt and do my stuff. But from the beginning, I wanted to be different. This is Bobby Kennedy. I wanted to be different. I wanted to stand up for the environment. I wanted to stand up against for thimerosal and mercury and vaccines and autism. And I knew I would be up against a serious force. I knew it, and I liked it. You should have seen Bobby Kennedy the other night when they asked him, who killed your father or something. I forgot. It was the weirdest thing. He said something like, well, from what they tell me, or I think, or I don't even know. I don't know. It was the weirdest thing. It was the strangest thing how he said this. And the best way for him to get back at these people is, I'm going to show you. If he goes third party, that Democratic Party goes right to him. Significant factions. Dropping that down. And if Trump is the nominee, Trump's president. Want me to say this again for you? Let me say this again. It is not beyond the realm of possibility. Listen to what I'm saying. And I keep telling you this. Bobby Kennedy could realize I can do more harm. I could do more harm and more of a problem. I could do more. I could do more by seeing to it that these people never, ever win this election because they gave me grief from the beginning. They told me I couldn't do this. They had the unmitigated audacity to tell me this. We live in a world right now where people who are trying to stop child trafficking are called conspiracy theorists. Goes back to what I said. You want 4 years of this? And you know who the worst people are? Democrats. Not the Republicans, the Democrats. And there's this faction of Democrat who's completely been forgotten. No. Let me just tell you this much. You listen to me. These are our days. It sounds like a 10,000 Maniacs song, like a Natalie Merchant song. This is something that I cannot even begin to tell you how wonderful this is. But I want you to understand something. Stop thinking politics in terms of your favorites. Stop thinking politics in terms of whom you like. I like Bernie. Bernie was never going to win. But Bernie is a great chance to tell young people in particular, see what they did to Europe the last time you wanted to say something independently? That was Hillary Clinton. These guys are gangsters. That's what we're going to do. So this is good news. We didn't have anything like this. We didn't have anything like this. We had nothing like this. Nothing. Do you hear me? We had nothing like this. Never looked like this. Never looked good like this. Never. Until now. All right, dear friends, I thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your focus. Thank you for your faith. Don't give up. I'm telling you, it hasn't looked this good in years. Years. We've had nothing. There's been nothing. No good news. No, nothing. Since January of 2021, when this old dotard, which is redundant, got into office, it's been straight to hell. There hasn't been a day off once. But that's about to change. So don't give up. Listen to what I'm saying. Things are looking good. All right, we love you. We'll see you tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel, 8 a.m. And until then, remember these words.